Hello, everybody. Okay, this is part of my favorite part of our Science of Sound unit. You are going to create a new instrument. So you're going to engineer a brand new instrument. You're going to take what you've learned from music class and what you've learned from science and what you've learned about sound, and you're going to create your own instrument out of things that you have around your house. It's great because Earth Day is coming up on April 22nd, and it's perfect timing to reuse some of the items that are found in your house. You're going to use an inquiry-based method to try things out and get your instrument just how you like it. Now you might be thinking, how am I going to complete this task? Well, let's just get started and find out. So your task is, a band is in search of a new instrument. They have hired you to design a new instrument that they can play at their next show. All right, so your task is your instrument needs to have at least 3 different pitches. Your instrument can either be a string, a wind, or a percussion instrument. Your instrument must include at least three different materials. Your instrument must be playable, and you will need to demonstrate your pitches during our classroom concert on Flipgrid. So you're going to be showing your 3 different pitches, you're going to talk about your 3 different materials, and you're going to also talk about if it's a string, a wind, or a percussion instrument. Okay, so let's look at a rubric here. If you would like to be at standard, which I'm sure most of you will because that's meeting the expectations, on design, the at standard is my instrument is made with 3 different materials. That would be at standard. For pitch, my instrument can play 3 different pitches. If it can only play 2 pitches, then that's approaching standard. So we want to do standard, so that's 3 different pitches. Evidence. I can describe how each pitch is different based on the length or size of my instrument. So when you play it and you say, that's a higher pitch, can you explain why that made a higher pitch noise? Higher pitch sound? So you're going to have to think about that. Okay, so we're going to go through the steps because I'm going to go through this whole packet so then you can get started, and you'll have, I believe, about 3 days to work on this, okay? So ask, how can I create different sounds on the same instrument? Remember, we want at least three different sounds. Maybe you can come up with more. That would be excellent. Imagine, what type of instrument could you make? You're going to think of if you're going to make a wind instrument, a string instrument, or a percussion instrument. Okay, wind, that's what I like to think of is something that you blow into, right? A string, we can think about that as kind of like a guitar, something that you strum usually or pluck. And a percussion is usually something that you bang on or hit, kind of like drums or a xylophone, okay? So based on the instrument family you picked, what types of instruments could you make? List and draw 3 different possibilities. So let's say in your head you're like, you know what, I'm making a drum. Can I just draw one example of a drum? No. Nope. You need at least 3. And you need to use 3 different materials. So if you use different materials on each of your designs, then of course they're going to look different, right? For sure. Plan. What will your instrument look like? You're going to make a sketch of your instrument with at least 3 materials that you'll need. Remember, 3 different materials, and then you're going to list your different materials at the bottom just to make sure you're using at least 3. So if I used, let's say, an oatmeal container and rubber bands, that's only 2 materials, so I would need to think of something else. Okay, so I'm not going to give you any more examples because I want you to be super creative and come up with something totally unexpected on your own. Okay, so now it's time to create. You're going to make your instrument. So you're going to build it at home. Of course, ask your parents if the materials you're using is all right with them. I would hope so, because we're hoping that you use things that would have otherwise been recycled. Okay, so how did your building process go today? Was it successful? What was unsuccessful about your building today? What tools did you use when building? What will your first step be tomorrow to continue building or improving your design? Okay, because I don't want you just sitting down, doing this in one session and saying, done. Because if we do that, that's thinking something is totally complete and we're finished. But you know, when we're engineers, we keep our thoughts in our mind and we keep thinking about it even when we leave our area. We're still thinking about it in the back of our mind like, how could I improve my design? So that's what you should be thinking the entire time. And then when you come back tomorrow, you're going to actually implement that to improve your design. I don't want anyone saying, I've done it on the first try and this is as good as it can get, because that's not how it works, right? When authors are writing books, their first draft is not their final copy. They rewrite it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And then engineers in the science or medical field, they don't just do it one time and say, oh, that's it, I'm a genius, I'm done on the first try. No, absolutely not. It takes hundreds or thousands of tries sometimes. And sometimes they work over and over and over and they never get to their final product, but their mistakes can help others learn. So sometimes scientists are working so hard on this one idea that they have and they never get to the final product. They never seem to get that. And that's okay, because their science and things that they worked on can maybe help the next person be able to get to the final product. All right, so now it's time to improve. How can you make your instrument better? And remember, I don't want anyone saying, oh, it's perfect right there, done. No, we can always improve, okay? So were you able to play 3 different pitches? Explain how you made the different pitches. Is there anything about your design that you need to change to improve how well your instrument plays? So like, let's say I can play 3 different pitches on my instrument, but if I gave it to someone else in my class, would they be able to just pick it up and play different pitches? Or would you need to explain to them certain ways that they need to pluck it or blow into it or whatever it is in order for them to get their 3 different pitches? Okay, so present. This is the time where if we were in class all together, we would go up in front of the class one at a time and play our instruments in front of everybody. But we're not going to be able to do that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on Flipgrid and you are going to tell us what your instrument is made out of. Remember, it needs to be made out of at least 3 things. And then your 3 different pitches, and you need to play the 3 different pitches for us because we need to make sure we can hear 3 different pitches. Okay? And then we're going to be listening to our classmates to make sure. So if Mrs. Zobitz comes up there and says, hey guys, here's my instrument, here's my 3 different pitches, and when you listen to it again, you say, Mrs. Zobitz, I really like your creativity, but I only heard 2 different pitches. Can you please play it again so I can hear the 3rd pitch? Thank you. Okay? And so your teachers will be looking at this rubric and grading you to make sure that you've hit all of the expectations there. Okay? On page 7 there at the top, it says, if you were to make another instrument, what would you make and how would you show 3 different pitches on that new instrument? Describe and draw your new instrument below. So if the first time I made something that I could blow into, and maybe the next one, when I think about it, I'd like a percussion instrument, something I could bang. Okay, so choose something. If you chose a wind instrument, then pick either percussion or a string instrument or vice versa. So choose something in a different category, okay? So after our classroom concert, and that means after you've played on your Flipgrid and you've listened to classmates and you've actually gone in and commented on at least 3 other classmates, So after a classroom concert, what are some scientific questions that you would ask your classmates? For example, how does your instrument produce 3 different pitches? Why is one of your strings long and one of your strings short? Okay, so these are questions to think about. I will include the PDF, which is the copy that you can take and print off. You do not need to print it off because I am also making this into a book creator, so you can use it in a book creator as well. So it is your choice on how you want to fill in this packet. However, however you choose is fine, but you do need to turn it in our Schoology assignment folder. That is the important part, is to turn it in so we can see how it's done. Whether you take pictures because you printed it off and now you're filling it out with a pencil, so you need to take pictures of each page and submit that, or if you want to keep it in the book creator and type on it as you go. So in order to meet your expectations, you need to have this packet filled out, and you also need to create your instrument. And to reach standard, you can see on page 2 that shows you the 3 things for design, pitch, and evidence that you need in order to meet the standards. Okay, thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day and have fun designing, engineers. Bye.